The very first topic that we're going to discuss today is that there was a immigrant who was arrested in an election day terror attack. So allegedly him and another individual were going to go to the elections and cause mass terror by killing as many people as possible, becoming martyrs. But let's go ahead and read this article. It comes from the Post Millennial. It says the Afghan man arrested Tuesday by the FBI for allegedly concocting an election day terror plot was allowed to enter the United States of America as a special immigrant in September of 2021. Nasir Ahmad Tahiti, 27, entered the U.S. with a special visa during the Biden-Harris administration's chaotic and botched American withdrawal. Now, one thing that I have to question is, how concerned should we be about this happening by somebody else now? If there's one plot, there's probably two plots. There's all of these immigrants that are here for a reason, right? Maybe some of them are here to improve their family's situation and outcome. Maybe some of them are here to, I don't know, move drugs and human trafficking. Maybe some of them are here to escape a gang-ridden country that they come from, which is great. Do it legally, right? Do it legally. You should absolutely be able to immigrate here just like almost every one of our ancestors did. However, the amount that have come over the border in the last 4 years alone is the same amount of people as 1 to 2 states combined. 10 million, the number has been thrown out, 16 to 20 million now immigrants in our country. And when you understand that the total population is roughly 330 million, that starts to become a big issue, right? Especially when we talk about housing, we talk about jobs, we talk about inflation, homeless crisis, you name it, this will exacerbate the issue. Now, one issue that we can kind of foresee as a result of this is the amount of terrorists and gang-affiliated members. We saw this with all the Venezuelan gangs. We saw this now with this Islamic State group, ISIS, right? So they've been sending people here, and they are going to attempt these things. Nasir Ahmad Tahiti entered the U.S. with a special visa during the Biden-Harris administration. During the botched American withdrawal from Afghanistan, this says, that saw 13 U.S. personnel killed and billions of dollars in military hardware left to the Taliban. The FBI has charged Tahiti with conspiring and attempting to provide material support to the Islamic State group. He allegedly confessed to the FBI that he and a juvenile co-conspirator were planning an election day terrorist attack on large crowds, and both were anticipating Islamic martyr deaths. Tahiti had reportedly wrapped up his affairs, liquidated his assets, and bought a one-way ticket for his wife and child to fly back to Afghanistan. Tahiti could be sentenced to 35 years in prison. Let's see, what else here? It says, on October 7th, FBI assets allegedly caught Tahiti and the juvenile at a rural location in Western District, Oklahoma, where they had purchased, received, and took possession of 2 AK-47s, 10 magazines, and 500 rounds of ammunition. The Department of Justice news release explained, upon receipt of the rifles and ammunition, Tahiti and the juveniles were arrested. I wondered how what kind of went into that. But this is just the beginning, guys. This is just the beginning. The men who were going to attack American citizens on the election day that were caught by the FBI were immigrants allowed here under Biden and Harris. And this is the one of many attacks that we can assume that we're going to see. One of many, because what are these people here for? How many other terrorists, how many terrorist other affiliated people are here? And how many of these attacks are already planned? And who's responsible for this? Well, I think we know the answer to that. And it's the organizers of this mass illegal migration, the ones who are paying people, busing them in, sending them to states. We do not understand. There was a good quote that I saw the other day. It said something about the people who run our country, the people who run the world are either naive and stupid, or I got to look at the quote, but there's a great quote around it. And the idea is that they're maliciously doing this, or they're that dumb, right? Do they want people to be having massive terrorist attacks? I would hope not. What the issue is very likely, and I think everybody agrees on this at this point, is the reason that there's this mass migration is they want to flood these states, the battleground states, with immigrants. Go look at where these people have gone and settled. The number one states, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Illinois, right? All of the states that they want to flood with new citizens, and maybe they're not even thinking about this generation. Maybe they aren't even thinking about, oh, how am I going to get this generation to vote for me? No, it's 2 generations from now, 4 election cycles they're thinking ahead. Because if they get an immigrant husband and a wife here and they have a child here, regardless of the situation, that child gets immigrant status. That child gets granted a green card. That child is now an American citizen. Doesn't even need a green card. Now what? Now that child, generally, like 70% of people, 80% of people stay in the state that they were born in, especially if they're low income. Now, what? Let's see, 4 election cycles, 5 election cycles later, that person's 20 and they're voting Democrat. So they look at these numbers and they say, okay, if we get 10 million people here, we send 2 million to Michigan, we send 2 million to Pennsylvania. Of those, that million that settles, I think it was 770,000 in Michigan. Of that 770,000, there's 350,000 couples who are going to have an average of 2 kids, which is another 770,000 people. And in 5 election cycles, the same state that we lost by a margin of 20,000 votes now has 700,000 more people in poverty who are 80% likely to vote Democrat. So they're not playing checkers here. And maybe they are. Maybe they are that stupid to think that if they flood these illegal immigrants here, and maybe they're not that stupid to think that they can get them to vote without voter ID, which we know happens. But even so, the biggest problem is going to be that our country is going to be taken over by people who do not share the same values as us, who did not grow up in a democratic society, who adhere to Sharia law, who are stopping women from going to school. They can't drive cars. They can't show their face, right? It's unbelievable. And this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of these terrorist attacks. This is just the beginning of the gang issues that we're going to see with these Venezuelan gangs, MS-13, cartels, because of the border.